Welcome to the station wagon. I'm the older brother, Mark.
And I'm little sister Julie. This is the podcast where my brother and I give up something we take for granted and tell you how it goes.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey, Julie.
Hey, what are we talking about today?
Hey, we are talking about giving up drinking everything except for water.
That's right. I think...
That's right. Good.
30th episode. I'm glad we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
We could probably just call it episode 30, water. I mean,
Ooh, that has a nice ring to it.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of giving up drinking every liquid except for water. Because
Right.
that raises a lot of questions.
It does.
Like, what is a liquid? Like, toothpaste is technically a liquid. Are we still going to use toothpaste?
Right. Is the
But I
milk
guess
in a
I'm
bowl of
jumping
cereal a liquid that you drink?
Yes.
Oh, or is it a soup broth?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Is
Right.
soup a bra? Yeah. Okay. So
We got a lot of questions that we're going to dive into, obviously, right?
Yeah, but we're going to start with a cultural quiz. Then you're going to give us some history, and then I'm going to go over the science, and then we'll talk about our 2-week challenge and give you the results of it. So,
That
can I
sounds
have
really
a
good.
quiz?
You can have a quiz.
I'm going to kick butt.
You can totally have a quiz. You know what the definition of water is first?
2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen.
Very good. Perfect.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a 3-question quiz, Julie. I'll lay it out for you. Each
Okay.
question has 3 multiple choice answers.
Did you really think I didn't know the chemical components of water?
No, I'm just keeping you on your toes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
What your job is here to do is not answer the question until you hear all 3 possible choices.
I can do that.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? What is the fastest recorded time for drinking 500 milliliters of water? And that's equivalent to 16.9 ounces of water. So
like a big old cup, like a pint glass.
I don't know. How many ounces in a pint?
I don't know, 16 maybe?
How many ounces?
Oh my gosh, we are such
pint?
Americans.
Let's see. 16. You got it.
Yes.
All right. Too bad that wasn't one of the quiz questions.
I-
Okay, so is it 1.75 seconds,
Ew.
3 seconds, or half a second?
3 seconds.
1.75 seconds by Tim Cook out of the UK.
Gross.
What's
UK,
gross about
what are you
that?
thinking?
Why is that gross to you?
Well, you have to completely open up your gullet and just go. Have you ever? How fast can you drink one? Maybe we should.
I don't know.
a
I remember
quick
as a
test.
kid, we had water drinking contests, my friends and I, and I would just get huge stomach aches from that. It wasn't
Aw.
about speed. It was more just about quantity, I think.
And it was just water.
Pretty sure. Okay, question number 2. What
Okay.
drink is more popular among Americans 21 and older than soda? You ready?
Beer.
Did I ask
No.
that question correctly? My grammar was pretty terrible on that one. What drink is more popular than soda among Americans 21 and older?
Okay.
Ready? Pressed
Yeah.
vegetables / juice combos, bottled water,
Okay.
or craft brewed beer?
Craft brewed beer.
Bottled water.
Real? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess 21 and older includes people over 25 too. So
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
include that group too. So in the United States, it reached 39.3 gallons per capita last year, while carbonated soft drinks slipped to 38.5 gallons, which is interesting because there's actually a shift. It used to be that soda was more popular than water.
interesting.
Number 3, what is Louisiana's state beverage? Tomato juice, Kool-Aid, or milk?
Tomato juice. That's
Milk.
weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have a lot of cattle there?
In Louisiana?
Like a cattle state?
Sure. And you can milk crawfish and stuff. You just have to get really small tweezers to
Small
do it.
tweezers.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
Kool-Aid actually happens to be the state drink of Nebraska.
No way.
Oh, yes, way, according to Wikipedia. So, Julie, this is really sad for you.
Mark.
You got all of them wrong. You haven't gotten all of the questions wrong in a very long time. I mean, you had a 1 in
Been a
3
while.
chance. You feeling off your
Okay,
game
yeah.
today? You ready to go into history where you can just sort
Let's
of
do
listen?
this.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to relax for a few minutes.
All
and
right, cool.
consult.
Great. So 1800s,
Uh-huh.
Wild West. What when you think about the Wild West, Julie, what kind of drink do you think of?
Beer, ale,
What? Really?
fresh home brew.
Really? No, no, no. Most normal people think of whiskey.
Oh, right, whiskey.
Right? You go into a saloon and you get some whiskey. But back then, in the 1800s, whiskey was actually cut with turpentine, ammonia, gunpowder, or cayenne pepper.
Oh,
And they had awesome names like Tanglefoot, 40 Rod, Tarantula Juice. Let's see, what's another good one? Oh, Coffin Varnish. You don't see you don't see anything labeled coffin varnish anymore. Let's see, there was also, something called cactus wine that was made from a mix of tequila and peyote tea.
well, that actually sounds like a recipe for a good weekend.
That really does, right? Interesting. Yeah, I thought that was just really interesting to hear about that. And then around the turn of the century is when the whiskey makers started getting cracked down on and actually had to make things that could be, codified as whiskey.
Legitimately drank without killing people.
Right, exactly. Weird how that works.
Yeah,
out, right?
strange.
Totally. Fight the man. 1945.
I heard that computer noise.
Yeah, you did, right? Let me turn that off. Hold on a second.
Mark is secretly using his computer and he's supposed to be podcasting.
That was my phone agreeing with what I was saying.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right. Okay, 1945. Grand Rapids, Michigan was the first city to fluoridate its drinking water.
That's interesting. Now, considering isn't Grand Rapids one of the cities that has like terrible drinking water now?
I have well, isn't that Detroit?
Oh, yeah. That's the same state, right?
Same state, yeah, Detroit, Michigan. But is Grand Rapids also having a problem with lead? See,
I don't
lead
know.
and fluoride are not related.
Right, I
Just
know,
saying.
but still, the overall priorities. I'll do some fact checking before we put
Fact
that
check yourself.
in. Okay, so
11
I'll check
years
myself
later.
before I wreck myself.
Hey, it's Julie, just breaking in here afterwards to say that, yeah, apparently Grand Rapids, Michigan has some of the cleanest water in the state. I am so sorry, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We clearly had no idea what we were talking about.
Right, 11 years later, they performed another study and they found that there was an increase or a decrease of 60 to 65% in the number of caries, or basically tooth holes, for children who have all the real teeth.
Wow, be in the areas where there was fluoride.
In Grand Rapids, Michigan, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
they found
not
a
just
60
like overall.
No,
in
not
the-
overall. They found a 60 to 65% reduction in caries
pretty
for
good.
those people who are getting more fluoride. Yeah, so that was pretty amazing. And I wish our neighborhood in Snoqualmie, all you Snoqualmie listeners out there, let's fluoridate our water. That's the only thing I care about. That's the only issue. I don't care about the backing in diagonal parking downtown.
Okay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and
Oh, sorry.
Julie,
No, please go on about all
Julie,
the other
I
shit.
also don't care about the giant rock in the Snoqualmie parking lot up on the ridge.
Is that
a
a
lot of
big-
people? Yes, it's a big thing. What I care about is that we need to fluoridate our water in Snoqualmie.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, 1950s was the first recorded history of vending machines and therefore sodas in U.S. schools.
Wait a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
But okay, are you saying because that's when vending machines existed, that's when we got sodas in schools?
Vending machines existed since the 1800s, late 1800s.
Right, and soda doesn't come from vending machines like historically. It comes from soda counters and soda shops.
Well, and
it's
soda
not
vending
like-
machines.
Well, yes, in addition, I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's not like
Oh, you think that's
it
spurious?
grows. I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering.
Are you-
not to cast aspersions on your research? Is this a link you're putting together?
Yeah,
Or-
I have a link for it.
No, I mean the linkage between vending machines being in schools and sodas being in schools.
No, it is not a link that I put together. Some other,
okay.
probably equally reputable source put it together.
Okay, I'll buy it.
All right, and I have a reference in APA style in our show
Oh,
notes.
excellent. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw your references this time. Looked really good.
Oh, thanks, Julie.
Nice work, Mark.
Thank you. 1976, the Big Gulp 32-ounce cup was released by 7-Eleven.
So
I had
gross.
no idea it was around that long. Did you?
Yeah, no way. Was it like previously called family size?
No, they just wasn't. It was probably just called large or something. This is interesting. I thought prior to 1955, Coca-Cola was served in 6.5-ounce bottles
Wow.
in vending machines in schools.
I wonder if the big
I'm just kidding.
Gulp-
I actually just made that part up.
Oh, Mark.
No, but the 6.5-ounce part is
That
true.
part's real.
Yeah, but imagine as a society going from when 6.5 ounces was normal to 32 ounces is an option. Ugh,
Yeah,
crazy.
no joke.
Gross.
Yeah, so like, was the Big Gulp always 32 ounce, or was it
Yes.
just called Big Gulp? And
No, it was
like
always
10
32
ounce?
ounces. It was always, and it was like a very concerted marketing effort
Ah.
and packaging effort. Okay, 2013, the Smart Snacks and School Nutrition Standards enacted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture required any food sold in public schools to meet calorie, fat, sugar, and sodium limits.
Yay.
And it was awesome. And thank you, Obama. And it was really Michelle Obama who got out and canvassed for that act. So it's pretty great.
It really is. I mean, the research shows that when the kids have water and fresh fruit and vegetables available, they'll eat it.
That's right. And when they don't have sugary snacks and sugary drinks available, they won't drink it or eat it.
Also true.
Also true,
Just like
right?
if you don't give them a chainsaw, they will not go around using chainsaws.
That is pretty much true. Yes, that's true.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. 2016, the first major city to pass a soda tax was Philadelphia. And they basically approved a 1.5 cent per ounce tax that will affect sodas and other sugary drinks. Basically, it's expected to raise $91 million annually and fund city projects like pre-K expansion, community schools, blah, blah, blah. Julie, it's pretty amazing, basically taxing the use of sugar to help make people healthier and to fund infrastructure.
Yeah. Are you conflicted about that? Or do
No,
you think
I
it's
love
like,
it.
Okay.
I think it's great. I think they should tax us for road use and for gas also, which they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
I'm not going to come down strong on that one. I don't know enough about the issue, but I'm guessing that it could disproportionately penalize poor people who have to travel farther to get to work.
How does
Gas,
the distance?
not the
Oh
sugar.
God, I was like, how does?
But I don't know. I'm just spouting off here.
You may be
I don't
right,
know all
and
the
we should
politics.
save that for another episode when we give up using fuel.
Or how about giving up making assumptions based on things we don't understand, like
Oh,
Lake
the good one.
Michigan?
Right? Yeah, I think that's really good. Is Detroit in the northern or southern part of Michigan, Julie?
Mid Michigan?
I have no idea.
We're from the state right below Michigan.
Let's
We
see.
should know this
I'm just gonna
stuff.
go look that up.
You
really
don't
quick.
need to look.
It's right on some lake.
Lake Michigan?
That could be. Let's see here. Actually, it
gosh.
appears that it's on Lake St. Clair.
That's not real.
Come on. What am I looking up here? What?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
you're-
No, it's totally true. Detroit, Michigan is not, I repeat, is not on Lake Michigan. It is on Lake St. Clair. And it is, and I'll have this in the show notes for everybody.
No.
It
get
is
back
in
to
the
the podcast.
southeast
Oh my
corner
gosh.
of Michigan.
I beg you.
It's very important.
Continue.
You learned something today.
Yeah, but you're like making everyone wait for the dessert of the episode, which is the science section.
True. Good point. 2017, we began fostering a doggie named Stella, who is drinking twice as much water as Pebbles.
Does she really?
Yeah, she's got a lot of energy. She's constantly running around. She's a wonderful dog. And we're fostering her, hoping to find her a nice adoptive home, Julie. And
So if anyone in the area wants a Pebbles clone,
right, this is Pebbles' littermate, actually. And that the previous owners, what do they call it? Returned to recycled back to the rescue where we got Pebbles because for some reason surrendered because they couldn't take care of her anymore. Yeah, so if we still have her by the time the show notes come out, I'll put a link to the pet finder in there.
Yeah, please do. And if anyone is interested in a secondhand dog,
Slightly used.
slightly used but not
Right.
dented.
Nope, not dented. She's a great dog.
Oop, out of print.
What? What? What's that?
eBay. Stupid. On eBay, like if you're looking for a DVD copy of Dunstan Checks In or some movie that's not in print anymore, they'll put in the title OOP, which means out of print, which makes it more valuable.
Got it.
So this dog is out of print because they're not, making more of them.
Well, that's true.
Well,
That's
from
true.
that litter.
From that litter. That's true. They're all fixed. That's true.
Anyway.
Julie, that was history and pretty much everything you need to know about water.
Okay. Well, just like you did, I'm also not going to focus on like water scarcity and like pollution issues. Like there are many, many issues about water
Oh, sure.
globally. I'm just going to be talking
Oh, there
about,
are?
Yes. Believe
What?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be focusing just on us drinking regular old-fashioned water, okay? First of all, I live in Olympia, Washington, by the way, which has delicious water, which is going to make the next couple of weeks pretty easy for me, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So, one, water, good for you, right?
You know what? I'm really
What?
worried about living in Snoqualmie and having to
Because your
drink
water
it
stinks?
because it's non-fluoridated. I might get cavities over the next 2 weeks.
You're going to brush your teeth still?
Yes.
I think you'll be fine.
All
Maybe
right, good.
floss.
Okay.
Have you ever flossed?
Yes, all the time.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Twice a year, like clockwork.
Right before your dentist appointment.
Right.
Perfect. Me too. Okay, so we all know water's good for you. It's good for your cardiovascular health.
Oh, wait. Hey, Julie, when you go to the dentist, do you ask them for nitrous oxide?
No, I've never done that, but I've also never had a cavity.
Me either.
Woo-hoo!
Okay, go ahead.
It can reduce headaches sometimes. It doesn't prevent them, but if you've got a headache, drink water. It'll reduce it somewhat. There's some evidence it can reduce obesity. It's definitely part of a weight loss strategy. For example, if you're drinking water instead of drinking sugary liquids, of course, that's going to reduce your caloric intake. There's also some evidence saying that if you chug a 16-ounce glass of water right before eating, it might reduce how much you eat. Okay, so
Is that just because your stomach is filling up with something else?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you might feel more sated.
Right.
Yeah, so
I've heard of that, and I've heard of people drinking warm water,
Oh,
like to actually do that satiation.
well, I didn't see any research about it, but
Right.
it doesn't shock me.
Anecdotally speaking, I've heard
Okay.
it done. Yeah.
So anyway, there's tons of other things out there. That's just like a few of them that water's really good for you. It's also good for your cognition, how we think. It has some of the same effects of caffeine. So when we're more hydrated, we are more alert. Our short-term memory is better and we can concentrate better, which is kind of funny. It's like the same things as caffeine. So if you're dehydrated, chug up some water in addition to coffee before your test or whatever.
Well, now, doesn't it just come down to the fact that water carries oxygen and other nutrients around the body, and if you're getting dehydrated, the connection points in your brain and various other systems can't function as well because they're just not connected as well.
Well, no, it's more like on a cellular level. When you get dehydrated, water from your cells is, being used where it shouldn't be used. Your body's still trying to function and keep you alive. And so the less important functions are going to go first. Okay. So dehydration's pretty scary. Water's like the one thing in the world that if you don't have it for a few days, you're going to die, right?
Ooh, how many?
I don't know. Like what?
It's like
3 to 5.
Yeah, haven't you ever heard
depending
the 3-3-3 rule?
No, what's that?
Oh, it's a thing where if you're in, if you're,
this is going to be really scientific. I can tell. Tell me.
No, this is just a rule of thumb. If you are in a hostile, like say snow environment or whatever, and you're caught outside, you have basically 3 hours to find shelter or you'll die. You have 3 days to find, 3 days to find water or you'll die. And something like
3 days to find internet.
I think 3 weeks to find food or you'll die.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, folks, don't necessarily trust that. I would also seek emergency help. Okay, so if you live in a hot climate, it can be especially dangerous for kids, but also for older adults. So I'm kind of concerned about you, Mark, because you're so old.
That's true.
And for the elderly, they just don't have as much water reserves. So dehydration can be far more dangerous for older adults, for the elderly. It's also harmful for me, dehydration, due to my extremely low blood pressure. Do you remember what happens to me when I'm dehydrated? As discovered,
you become the life of the party?
No, I faint, which is really fun.
Wow, you're like a little wilting flower.
Totally. Yeah, this started when I was nursing my firstborn. And you know how when you have a kid, just lots of crazy weird things happen to your body that no one warns you about? I remember talking to Kendra, your wife, about it. It just saying something like, yeah, and another thing, I can't believe all the fainting. No one told me about that. And Kendra was like, what are you talking about? And I was just dehydrated. That's a common thing that happens when folks are nursing. And it turns out my extremely low blood pressure means that if I also don't drink enough water, when I get up or sit up from a reclining position, I fall right back down on my face. So I usually try to be really, really good about drinking water. But
that's awesome.
You know, our whole thing is mindfulness and being aware of what we're doing. So I think this is going to be good. Okay, Mark, question. How do you get water in you?
I drink it, or I...
When?
What?
Like, when? Do you deliberately sit down and drink water like breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Well, every time, right. So this
beverages?
is something I actually want to give up in our episodes, Julie, which you won't let me, is drinking and eating at the same time. Every time I sit down for a meal, I also usually have a glass of water with it.
Good.
Or
okay,
some
so
other beverage.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. So do you drink water with every meal, or do you drink some other beverage?
Most of the time I drink water.
Okay. Well, and how often do you eat fresh fruit and vegetable?
Every day.
Okay, good. Like once a day?
Once or twice.
Okay, so in general, about 22% of our hydration comes from food and not actually from liquids, but it's lower in the United States because that 22% is from fruits and vegetables and other food that has like inherent hydration in it.
Like peanuts?
I don't know about that.
Breadsticks?
No.
Give me an example.
Oranges.
Ah, good one.
So, yep, watermelon. So, I used to work in an obesity clinic as one of my practica when I was in graduate school at University of Illinois, Chicago Hospital. And I worked in an adolescent obesity clinic. And one of the things that and I was the therapist version, and I worked hand in hand with this awesome doctor. And she would always tell the kids, eat your juice. And what she meant by that was, if you like drinking apple juice, eat apples. Like, get your juice that way because it's going to have the fiber and everything.
Right, sure.
You'll get all the lovely juicy flavors. Okay.
Well, yeah, but what did that have to do with water? You said eat your juice. That makes total sense. Are you saying eat your water also? Because that's totally different. And
hydration.
So a long time ago, Kendra and I went on the South Beach diet. And one of the things that they talk about in that is how you can eat certain foods that juices. You just shouldn't drink juices because it's just pure sugar and it turns into whatever in your body that's bad for you. So that if you eat fruits, basically you're eating the juice. But water, I mean, what are you talking about, Julie? How would you're supposed to like chew on ice cubes?
No, you should still drink water for sure. I'm just saying.
Then what was the point of that tangent?
The point of my amazing anecdote is that if a lot of your calories are coming from juice, try to be mindful about that and replace them with eating fruit instead.
Oh, so that was like a public service advisory that had nothing to do with this episode of the podcast.
It does, because you're still getting hydration. Hydro coming from the Latin root hydro, meaning water. Okay, on to my next important question.
Okay.
When you do drink water, Mark, why is that?
I am thirsty.
Okay.
Or my pee is a funny color.
Oh, okay. We're also going to get to that. Okay, so.
Oh, good.
Humans are weird about drinking because we tend to only drink when we're thirsty, and other animals drink just regularly. They drink possibly when they're thirsty and also just like as a natural function.
Really?
So if animals have water available, they'll drink it throughout the day and they don't show as much dehydration as we do. So humans, even if we have available water, we don't drink it unless we actually experience thirst. And that's not great because our thirst receptors aren't really accurate and you can already be a little bit dehydrated even when you're feeling thirsty.
Right.
So this is especially dangerous or important for folks who do a lot of exercise. So studies of athletes doing like a spin class. So I'm not talking about marathon runners, but just, your person who does 60 minutes of exercise.
Right, like the lazy people on a spin bike is what you're referring to.
No, they're not lazy. I
heard what you said.
Anyway.
They're not marathon runners. They're lazy people on spin bikes.
Bicycle spinners. I think you guys are amazing how you don't fall off of those things. It's awesome. Okay, anyway, if they have available water afterwards, they'll drink water, but only about 2/3 of what they've actually exuded from sweat. So I know that's not the right word. So like the liquid that they've lost from sweat, they don't recoup at all. So they just don't experience as much thirst for the amount of sweat that they've let out. Sweated? I don't know the right verb here.
Man,
Anyway,
it's almost like you didn't do any research before this episode.
I read so much good research. I found this one great article that was such a good review. Anyway, okay, so we need to be better about drinking. We need to be really mindful and planful about it. Like, have
It's like, should an
water.
athlete, should somebody on the spin bike, should they stop being lazy and just start drinking a little water before they get started and while they're doing it instead of waiting towards the end?
Lazy folks at the gym. Well, I'll say this. So I do group high intensity interval training at my gym, and I drink water throughout it. We all do. But every once in a while, I'll finish my thing of water, and I don't want to like run over to the water fountain in the middle of the class because I feel like, oh no, I want to be the tough one. You know, I don't want to be like, sorry guys, I need to go get more water.
Right.
And after reading all this, I'm like, ooh, no, I really should. If I'm actually experiencing thirst, I definitely need to be. Okay. My last question for you, Mark. Are you one of those people who hates the word moist?
No.
Do you know people who hate that word?
Yeah, Judge John Hodgman.
Okay, well.
Yeah, he actually went off
Sorry.
about it in one of his episodes.
Sorry, JJ Ho, but that's his nickname. I wasn't just trying to be mean. Okay, because I was about to say the word moist, and if you really hated it, I was going to say it extra.
Oh, like a
amount of
trigger
times.
warning?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We should put a trigger on this one. Okay, let's talk about what water is not going to do for you. And I was really disappointed to read this. It's not going to clear up our acne. And it also won't make you have like nice moist skin if you already have dry skin. So there's lots of, this is just an old wives' tale.
I mean, like people use just plain water to clean off an oily face?
No, like the idea of, if you drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day,
okay.
it'll clear up your complexion.
Oh.
So you might not know this. I'm turning 40 in a couple of weeks.
I heard.
And yes, every year on my birthday, I always say, okay, this is the year I'm not going to have acne anymore. And I don't have like severe acne, but I have like enough to be annoying and like to say that on my birthday every year. And every year I'm so wrong. It's still the year. And so as we were talking about this episode, I was thinking, this is going to be it. I'm going to figure out the secret. But it has nothing
not
to
water.
do with water. It's all
What a
genetics
bummer.
and sun damage and stuff like that. Not
Okay.
the zits. The zits are genetic. The drier skin is sun damage. Okay, so hey, water, pee. Yeah, we can be kind of quantifiably looking at, how much we're drinking, but also seeing the results in our clear pee-pee. That's exciting.
At one of my old jobs, above the urinal, it was in a warehouse, and above the urinal, they had a color chart indicating color along with dehydration with suggestions on when you should be drinking water.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Okay, so we'll be looking at the color.
I felt
of our
very
pee.
cared for.
No pictures of the pee-pee, please.
None.
Thank you. In fact, I recommend we don't talk about that anymore. Moving on. So we're just going to drink water. We're not going to drink any other liquids. Are we going to eat soup?
Yeah, I'm going to have soup, of course.
I'm going to have soup.
I think it's all about the intent. Like if you sit down with something in a glass that's intended to deliver a liquid to your mouth.
Like soup?
Well, no, no, the spoon for soup is intended to deliver it to your mouth. Are you using glass spoons?
Maybe I will. But
No, I don't think you do.
Your differentiation makes no sense. But okay, go on.
Right?
I want to have. What about popsicles? What about ice cream?
No, ice cream is fine. Ice cream
Okay,
is not a drink.
Flavored water?
Flavored water is out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about
What about beer?
what about just all that huge classification of liquid that you can buy at a bar? All that
all
stuff.
of it's out.
All
it's
of that's
all
out, right?
Yeah. I don't drink very much, but once in a while, I will admit, sitting down with Jace to watch Bob's Burgers, a nice frosty mug.
Sure. What about
nice
different
thing.
temperatures of water?
Oh yeah, I think warm water is probably something I'm going to try just like in the morning
Why just the morning?
because that's when I usually drink warm coffee.
Oh, I see. I get it. Good one.
So yeah, thank you.
And so are we really going to be giving up caffeine for the next 2 weeks also?
I'm not. No, I'm going to be taking caffeine.
Really? Is that legal?
But I don't recommend it to others. I'll get into it more. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. I don't know. Well, ask me in 2 weeks.
All right, cool.
But what about you? What's your caffeine plan?
I haven't been. I've started drinking a little bit of coffee since the episode on giving up caffeine.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not drinking too much, so I think I'll just go cold turkey again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to hear all about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I mean, I think that's it as far as plans and stuff. Should we listen to the pleasure kills for a few seconds and then come right back and talk about it?
Sounds good.
Talk to you in a couple weeks.
Bye.
We're lucky this week to have a little clip from my favorite podcast, Olympia Pop Rocks, about their experience giving up alcohol.
Hi, I'm Jemmy Joe.
And I'm Guire McGuire.
And we're from the Olympia Pop Rocks podcast. So, Guire, at the beginning of the year, you suggested that we quit drinking for a year.
That's right, with a few exceptions. I need to bring up the exceptions first. So the exceptions would be if we're out for a nice meal, it would be perfectly okay to drink some wine with that meal.
And then also when we have podcast guests over, if they want to drink, we will join them to be sociable.
We will offer it we're like, can we offer you anything to drink? Water, bubble water, coffee, tea, wine, beer.
And then also if you're on
Which has only ever happened once this year.
Yeah.
We're 4 months in.
And then also if you go on vacation,
vacation.
Yeah. So why are we not drinking? I mean, I know why I'm not drinking is because you're my best man and I'll just go along with the ride with you.
Is that really that's the only reason?
That's why I started. But
and how about now?
I like to be in control of my life and be aware of why I do what I do. And that's what I've gotten out of not drinking. I become aware in social situations that I would drink is kind of out of anxiousness or purely habit. And I realize I don't actually like to be drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain alcohols that I enjoy drinking greatly that I think taste fantastic, but there's no reason to double up in a night.
I guess for me, I realized that I was drinking regularly, and I really like drinking.
And you like being drunk?
Well, I like having a few drinks like daily. So it was a way to change things up. A mutual friend of ours who also has a podcast, Jim Stewart Allen with the Historiography podcast, made a choice to never drink again starting this year. And so then I thought about that and I was like, oh, I'll give it a year, give it a shot. Now, I by no means am going to stop drinking, but I thought it might be fun just to see how that is and reflect on it. And I will tell you, it's been positive so far. Generally, I'm more productive later in the day than I used to be. I used to kind of check out after dinner. And now it is common where I will continue to do some more creative thing. Does it change your life in any positive way?
I would say that after this year, there's probably no way I'm going to quit drinking. But I think that quitting drinking has no negative effect on anyone ever.
That's probably true.
Like they're just like, oh, I used to be doing so well, and then I quit drinking. They're like,
it really messed everything up.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
God, I was so thirsty.
You're so thirsty right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, have we already started the podcast, or is this like
this is my intro into the podcast.
Okay, great. Hello. Nice
Hi.
to talk to you. So you're thirsty right now?
Not really. I was just kidding around.
That was your
you fell for it.
Okay, so I saw you kvetching all over Facebook and Twitter about this.
Yeah,
What's
was
the
not
dealio,
very
Mark?
good.
It's just water.
So I think what I've come to terms with is that doing things for this podcast really stink. The only one that I thought was pretty good was the one where we gave up shaving, and that required absolutely no effort.
What about the one sleeping on the floor?
I broke my toe on that one. I didn't like that one. Super uncomfortable. This one.
What about giving up sitting? That was a breeze for you.
Again, it required effort, Julie. So I mean, so every episode stinks except for that shaving episode.
Okay, what about the pee though? Didn't you feel so accomplished when your pee-pee was clear?
God.
Come on, that was awesome, right?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yes, I was like, I did a thing that's good for my body. Woohoo!
Well, but you could go into, what is it, like water shock if you drink too much water and the cell membranes break down. Like, you know what happens, like if you put some broccoli in water and cook it for too long, it gets all squishy. That can happen to you if you drink too much water.
Or like in the X-Men. Yeah, but that's rare.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah. Yes. Professor Xavier is quite rare. Okay, so tell me why this stunk for you so much. Just because you are like a first world kind of dude who's like, but I want to have my flavored sodas.
Yeah, because soda water just by itself is kind of gross.
Okay.
I like flavored sodas, Julie.
Okay, like what aspect of this was the hardest for you? Like at meal times when you just had water, or between them? Or...
Okay, so there were like,
I loved this. I just don't get it.
There were two or three things that were really hard for me about this.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about what you loved about it, and then I'll talk about I'll be Debbie Downer?
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
first of all, there were a couple of things I didn't love about it, but overall I loved it. Okay. First of all, my pee was clear. Okay. Second of all, the caffeine thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
So here, so I didn't get into this last time. So what I did was I went to our grocery store and bought off-brand.
Was it really a truck stop, Julie?
Yeah, it was a truck stop. And from this dude in a cart, no, from a reputable grocery store, I bought caffeine pills, and they are 200 milligram pills and with like a little dividing line. So I was able to chop those in half. And
wow, 200 milligrams.
Planned out my caffeine intake throughout the day. And since our caffeine episode, I'd actually kind of gone off the wagon and been drinking a lot of caffeine again. So this helped me wean back down because I knew exactly how much caffeine I was getting.
Oh,
like, do you remember from our caffeine episode how much caffeine was like in a Starbucks?
I remember that you were drinking something like 600 milligrams a day.
I was something like that. And a Starbucks, no, maybe not quite that much, but a lot. A Starbucks coffee can have like a couple hundred milligrams of caffeine in it.
Right.
And overall, for like the last 3 weeks, because we ended our challenge a few days ago, and I'm still doing it because I really, really love it. I've been taking like one entire pill throughout the whole day. Like I chopped it up and just took little bits here and there, and I can feel the effect. The crazy thing is, one, I've like totally weaned myself back down. Two, I'm saving money on coffee, which I guess is kind of important. But three, I feel like I'm doing this weird illicit thing. Like
why? Because why?
It's a pill. You know, I feel like
right.
I'm a pill popper. You know, I don't know. It's just one of those.
Wasn't there some
things.
kind of caffeine pill from when we were kids that like killed a bunch of kids, and so it's off the market, and using that would be illegal?
Red M&Ms?
No, I don't think they were red M&Ms.
It was like Fen or something.
Maybe something like that. Mini Thins?
I have no idea.
Is that a thing?
But anyway, when you were 7, I was 0, so I don't know.
Nice.
But,
I wasn't taking caffeine when I was 7. Oh, mini thins are ephedra. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a different thing. But anyway, so I, even when we ended, I was just drinking so much water still. It was pretty awesome, and I'm still doing it. So I
You mean
have
you're
this
not
trick.
drinking anything else?
I'm not drinking anything else.
Whoa.
Well, that's not exactly true. I would say I had my book club a few nights ago, and my book club is like a thinly veiled excuse to go drink wine with my friends.
Sure.
We rarely actually read books in it.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, ladies, the secret's out. So I had a glass of wine there, but and I think I had like a drink with Jason at some point, but that's it. Like it's been all water. So I have this thing I started doing since college when I have a cold and I just really need to drink as much water as possible, which is I'll buy a kind of candy or chip or something that makes me really thirsty. And so it's usually candy corn, or if it's near Easter time, it's those Whoppers that are like robin's eggs.
Yeah, those make you thirsty?
They're like candy shells. They make me so thirsty. And so I will take like 4 or 5 of those, okay? Eat one, and then I'm so thirsty from just eating the one that like I will drink half a cup of water. And so like I know this sounds so gross. Please, everyone, remember, I'm a psychologist. I'm not a medical doctor. Don't do my stupid things. Check with a doctor before using candy corn to make yourself thirsty.
Right. Very good.
But I'm not eating like an entire package of candy corn or these things. I'm
Isn't
eating like
being thirsty like a sign of having type 2 diabetes?
I think if you're thirsty like all the time and peeing all the time, and I do actually pee a lot, but I also drink a lot of water. And I'm little. I don't know. I have a little bladder. Anyway, so even though our thing wasn't drink as much water as you can, I kind of took it upon myself. It's like, well, I'm doing this water thing.
Oh, okay. So did you track
water?
Did you track how much water you were drinking?
I started to.
And then what happened?
And I was so busy peeing all the time. I just stopped. No, I just drink tons of water. It was not hard to go without the coffee once I figured out the awesome caffeine pill thing. That worked great. And there were a couple times when Jason was enjoying nice beer, and I was like, ah, but I definitely had another benefit that was unexpected, which is I didn't do late at night snacking because every night I'm like, nope, I'm not going to snack before bed. That's a recipe for terrible sleep, and I don't need it, and I'm not hungry. But then I'll have, if I do have like a little glass of wine or a beer with Jace, then I'm like, oh, you know what would go so great with this? And then before I know it, I'm having like another entire meal. And with the water, I was thinking, oh, I can't drink this water right before bed because then I'll just have to pee all night because, and it's so weird because I should be having that same conversation with myself regarding alcohol, but for some reason, the alcohol just feels like, yeah, but this is a celebration. Whereas if I'm just sitting down chugging water before bed, like that feels weird, right? I don't know. It's just some strange way my brain works. So
you are
I slept
weird.
better. Yes. So I slept better. It was great. I still had zits, as we discussed. The hardest part. Well, can I get onto the hard part, or do you want to?
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear it.
Okay, so two things were hard. One is that buying a beer or buying a cup of coffee is a ticket in to certain establishments. So I love to work or read a book or something at a coffee house or at our local bar where a lot of us podcasters go and edit. What, Jimmy Joe? Called Skep and Skin. And these are just places that have free Wi-Fi. You go buy a beer, buy a cup of coffee, and you can sit there for a couple of hours. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? Go drink water and then
go buy a bottle of water. And there's nothing
go buy a
wrong with
bottle
that.
of water, I guess. Yeah. So
it's the single most popular drink in the United States right now.
That's what I hear. So I did. So at the coffee shop I always go to, I bought like a pastry at one point. And I'm like, I'm eating this pastry even though I'm not hungry. So I could just have water with it. But I guess I could have bought bottles of water. It didn't even occur to me. You're smart. But
Are you on caffeine right now, Julie?
Yes.
Oh God.
It's like 100 mil. It's less than a cup of coffee. It shouldn't be affecting me this much. But,
I feel like I am moving and talking in slow motion.
Anyway, and I have like this big grin on my face too.
Oh,
Maybe
great.
it is affecting me more. Jason said when Jason saw me take my first caffeine pill, he was so horrified. He's like, "You should just ground it up and snort it."
Oh, come on.
Anyway. Okay, so there was one moment when I don't remember what was happening. I needed to get out of the house and do some work, and I just needed to write something. I didn't need internet, and I didn't want to do it here where the children and husband were because they're way too entertaining. And so I just drove down the block and sat in my car for 2 hours and worked. Whereas normally I would have gone to the coffee shop. So, that wasn't so bad. The other weird thing is just the social aspect, right? Like just hanging out with people.
Right.
And when you're a woman and you're like, oh, I'll just have the water, people assume you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not smoking cigarettes either, so it's a clear giveaway.
Clear giveaway. Well, Julia, that's awesome that you had a great time. No, I didn't like this. I was jonesing for variation just in my drinks.
Oh.
Yeah. And I love a nice bowl of cold cereal and then drinking the milk afterwards. And I would have my nice bowl of cold cereal like late night snack. And then I wouldn't drink the milk. And I felt really guilty about that.
About wasting the milk?
Yeah, about wasting the milk. Really stupid. And then, of course, I do drink diet soda throughout the day or
true.
Other types of soda. So I was just really missing the feeling of carbonation. And then also
it was
the morning...
like a mouthfeel thing.
Mouthfeel thing, yeah. And then also the morning ritual of just having a nice warm cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Just so missed that. And so on the Monday that we were done with this, I went in and got myself a coffee and then proceeded to spill it completely all over my desk.
No!
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did. It was, I don't know. It was just such bad karma. So during the time period, I'm going to put a few pictures of the drinks that I missed and some that I actually took part in. So I was pretty sick with a cold on when we got into this, and Kendra made me drink this tea that has tomatoes and other gross stuff in it.
No, why, Kendra?
Well, she likes it a lot and thinks it's really good. It was not my cup of tea. Yeah, sorry.
That was a good joke.
Yeah, thanks. And then later on, so we had these beers, and Kindra was having a beer, and like you, yeah, just looking at that, hearing the popping of the top open up, it just really triggered my desire to have one too, and it was pretty awful. And then at work, we get coffee and water and all kinds of drinks for free there. They supply it for us, and I'll show you. There's a picture of just this really nice layout of cups and mugs. And just seeing it, and not being able to use it, it just it was just really, first world problem, but still. However, on the flip side, I did get to use our new water cooler server things. That was pretty neat. Like we have these little robots where you can get water out of.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
A robot? Oh, yeah, you put a video. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, so let's see. What else was stinky about this? Oh, we went out with Kindra's parents to the local Irish pub on St. Patrick's Day. And so I have a picture of my tall glass of water.
I'm sure in solidarity, none of them had anything.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No. But then at work, it was weird. On these 2 days at work, we had to have celebrations. One for one thing and another for something else. And at one, I had to drink some champagne. I was forced to. And then on another one, I was forced to do a toast with my coworkers with whiskey and then margaritas.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
okay, wait. Let me just clarify a couple points. Yeah. First of all, was this during the challenge?
Yes, it was. Cheater. And I feel really bad about that, Julie.
You should. Okay,
I do. I feel very bad about that.
Was this at your work site?
Oh, well, yeah. You wouldn't want to do it in the car. That's dangerous.
Wow, we work in really different places.
You're not allowed to, have alcohol at your work site?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if I had some alcohol at my work site, I wouldn't, get in trouble. People would look askance at me. I can't imagine serving it to others. I don't think there's rules about it, but it would certainly, someone would call me into their office to talk to me about it.
Oh, yeah, that's not a thing. Nope.
No, that is not a thing.
Not a thing. Yeah, so that was really interesting, that social aspect that you mentioned. Yeah, I definitely experienced and succumbed to it.
Yeah. Okay, let the record show that Julie was awesome on this one.
Right. You were awesome on this one, even though you got all the questions wrong on the quiz. Yeah. And another thing that I missed was just drinking milk. I love to drink milk with some types of food, I don't know, a chocolate chip cookie.
Right.
What are you supposed to do if you eat a chocolate chip cookie and you're only drinking water?
See,
crazy.
I just don't drink milk. That's gross.
Really?
It's against God's law. I mean, I make the best hot cocoa. I make it from scratch, and it's seriously good. Some of the kids' friends, when they come over, request it. That's how good it is. And grilled cheese, I'm really good at. But other than that, no milk.
No milk. Oh, so you're saying that in your hot chocolate it has milk?
Oh, my hot cocoa. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the legit real stuff.
Oh, that's nice for you, Julie.
Thank you. Isn't
You're welcome.
It
is. So, Julie, would you recommend this? It sounds like you would.
Definitely. I think even once I eventually get back into drinking coffee and other things, it's good just to be mindful of how much water you're drinking. And there's so many apps out there. If you're already tracking your food intake on any of the apps, or you have a Fitbit, to keep track of the water too. But
now, is that so that you drink the right amount and not too much and have an X-Men experience?
So that you drink enough, and to be aware that don't just wait till you're thirsty. But I think the other thing is something like soda. I don't know about you, but for me, I can't drink a lot of soda in one sitting, even though soda might be slightly hydrating, although I doubt it.
I don't think so. It's salty, right?
I don't know. I don't know the chemical properties of Diet Coke, but it's I'm going to have, even if you have another cup of water right next to it, you're not going to end up drinking as much water as if you're just quenching your thirst while eating with water. Sure. Also, what I like to tell my kids is that water totally cleanses your palate. And ice cream, for example, if you really want to enjoy that ice cream, drink a sip of water between every few bites. And then the bite after you drink water tastes amazing because your palate's all cleansed. But getting kids to drink water is really hard. We, do a thing when we're playing outside or at the lake or something, everyone pour a glass of water. Okay, time for a toast, and
that's good. So you're modeling drinking.
Well,
you're modeling using alcohol. That's really super good.
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean, how do you get kids to stop playing and drink water?
Well, yeah. So our youngest doesn't drink enough water, also we think, and so we've been putting the food flavor, or not food flavoring, but water flavoring in the water.
I thought you were to say food flakes.
Food flakes? No, no,
for a little girl.
no.
Yeah, the water flake. Does it work?
She loves it. She loves it. Loves it. Yep, and it's good to go take camping too. A friend of mine at work says that if she goes backpacking and needs to filter her water, she flavors it with that food flavoring,
that
so
makes
that
sense.
Doesn't taste as much like rocks and dirt.
I do recommend this, even though you hated it. Would you recommend it too?
Yeah, just to see if you could do it and to see which types of drinks you feel like you need most first. For me, it was really the carbonation stuff, but yeah.
So that's interesting data right there.
It is.
Yeah. A couple of our listeners, it is, period. I don't have any follow-up to that. A couple of our listeners tried this challenge too, including at Bloop Bloop Boy, I think is her Twitter handle. I can't remember exactly. Well, I would bring up Twitter right now, except I'm afraid it'll eat up the bandwidth. Or is it Blooper Boy? I forget. She's
eat up
awesome.
What bandwidth?
the limited bandwidth I've got on my computer to do this Skype session.
Okay.
It's me again, jumping in to give the correct Twitter handle, which is blooper __ boy. Blooper boy.
But she was just doing so many funny tweets about this challenge along with us. She was like, oh, I really wanted apple juice. And after she finished her challenge, she was like, okay, today is going to be the day I'm finally getting apple juice. And then she's like, there was no apple juice at the store. And, it's just devastating.
Well, thanks for doing it with us. That's really cool.
Yeah, she's always very supportive. Anyway, you can support the show too by trying our stupid challenges with us if you'd like, or you can follow along on Facebook and Twitter. We're at WagonPod. If you want a WagonPod sticker, let us know, or Station Wagon Podcast sticker, let us know. Write us an iTunes review or share one of our posts on social media, and then send us your address, and we'll send it to you. Maybe we'll color you some pictures too.
Ooh, cool. I want one.
Yeah. You know what else people can do that's pretty awesome?
What is it, Julie?
Give us iTunes reviews like this one by Greatness25. He says, great show, 5 stars. I love the freedom you have on your podcast. The jokes and liveliness make it a great listen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Greatness25. Thank you. When you say the freedom we have on our podcast, I think he or she means because no one's actually editing this beyond us. we don't have a third party to say, no, you really shouldn't say that stuff about your pee.
Right.
Stop after the first mention of pee.
Exactly.
Also, I want to give a shout out to another great podcast called Wine and Crime. Speaking of alcohol use, it's a really good true crime podcast. And it's just 3 friends in Minnesota, and they've got great Minnesotan accents, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
So email us your suggestions at wagonpodcast@gmail.com. And
thank you to the Pleasure Kills for the song Modern Problems.
Yes. Thanks for sharing the show with your friends.
And thank you to Pebbles for putting up with us.
Yes, thanks to Pebbles, Mark's dog, for putting up with Stella, the foster dog. Thank you for our children and spouses for putting up with us. Stay tuned. We're going to have more episodes.
Hey, Julie, what are we doing next time?
Have we actually figured this out yet?
Are we going to really do mansplaining and jargon?
I don't know. I don't know
either.
I don't know. I'm iffy about it. So
how about this? I'll ask you the question right now, and then later when we figure it out, you can just put in one sentence.
How about this? Listeners, we don't really know exactly what the next episode's going to be, so please connect with us on Facebook so you can do it along with us.
There you go. That sounds great.
Okay, bye, Mark.
Bye, Julie. Darn it, I keep burping. Sorry.
Thank you for doing it quietly. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.